Alright, so I've never really been one to believe in ghosts or anything paranormal. I'm more of a see it to believe it kind of person, you know? But this experience changed everything for me. I'm still freaked out just thinking about it. So, a few months ago, I moved into this small, quiet house on the outskirts of town. It was perfect, just the right size for me, a little yard, and most importantly, peace and quiet. I'd just gone through a messy breakup, and I needed a place to reset. Anyway, everything was normal for the first few weeks. I was settling in, unpacking, and getting used to the quiet neighborhood. But then, weird stuff started happening. It all started one night when I couldn't sleep. I don't know if you've ever had one of those nights where your brain just refuses to shut off, but that's where I was at. I was tossing and turning in bed, just staring at the ceiling, when I heard something. At first, I thought it was just an animal or something. There's a lot of stray cats around here. But this sound was different. It was like footsteps, slow and deliberate, right outside my window. Now, my bedroom faces the backyard, which is completely fenced in. I'm thinking, there's no way someone's back there, right? I brushed it off, telling myself it was nothing. But then I heard it again. Footsteps. Closer this time. I grabbed my phone and switched on the flashlight, got out of bed, and cautiously walked over to the window. At first, I didn't see anything. The yard was dark, and the trees cast long, creepy shadows. But just as I was about to convince myself it was my imagination, I saw it. A figure standing at the far corner of my yard. They weren't moving, just standing there, facing my house. I'm not going to lie. I froze. Every instinct told me to turn off the light and hide, but I couldn't. I just stood there, watching this person, or whatever it was. They were tall, too tall to be any of my neighbors, and they were wearing this long, dark coat. I couldn't see their face, but I could feel them looking right at me. After what felt like forever, I finally snapped out of it and ran to grab my phone. I dialed 911, but as I turned back toward the window, the figure was gone. Just gone. No sound of them leaving, no trace of them at all. The cops came pretty fast considering where I live, but by the time they got here, there was no sign of anyone. They did a quick sweep of the yard and told me it was probably just a drifter or some random person passing through. They didn't seem too concerned, but I knew something was off. The next night, I was on edge. I couldn't sleep, constantly glancing out the window. But everything was quiet. For the next week, things seemed to calm down, and I started to think maybe it was just a one-time thing. I even convinced myself that maybe I was half asleep and imagined the whole thing. But then, about a week later, it happened again. Same time, same footsteps. This time, though, they were even closer. I didn't wait around. I grabbed my phone and went straight for the window, but when I looked out, the figure was right at the edge of the patio, almost at my back door. This time, I could make out more details, a pale face, sunken eyes, and that coat. It looked wet, like it had been in the rain, but the night was completely dry. I didn't even bother calling the cops. I just turned off all the lights and stayed hidden in my room until sunrise. The figure never moved closer, but I could feel it waiting there. The next day, I put up cameras around the house. I wasn't going to take any chances. For a while, the cameras didn't pick up anything unusual, and I thought maybe the figure had finally moved on. But one night, a few weeks later, I got an alert on my phone, a motion detection warning. My heart sank. When I checked the footage, I saw it. The figure was back, standing at the same spot, just staring at the house. And then the creepiest thing happened. It looked directly into the camera. For a split second, it was like they knew I was watching. The image glitched, and then they were gone. Just like that. No trace, no footsteps, nothing. I don't know what to do at this point. I haven't seen the figure again in person, but every now and then, I'll get an alert from the cameras. Just random glitches, like something is messing with them. I don't even know if it's a person or something else. All I know is that I'm not sleeping well anymore. Every night, I half expect to see that figure standing outside again, waiting. And the worst part? I found out from my neighbor that years ago, a man who used to live here went missing. They never found his body, just his coat, wet and covered in mud, left on the back porch.